in to Good Morning Algeria. Today we will be covering a news story we just received last night regarding the conviction of Lucien Meursault, who is now being labeled as one of the most cold-hearted people in the world.
Rightfully so. This story isn't something you see make it to the big leagues like our channel. But someone as cold-blooded as this man needs to be addressed. As stated in Algerian laws, charges of second-degree murder are punishable by death.
This two-day trial has led to Lucien Meursault being sent to the guillotine with the crowd cheering for his death. We can hear the joy of the jury as the final verdict came out and boos for Meursault arose from the crowd.
The verdict has been reached. Lucien Meursault is declared guilty of second-degree murder and will be faced with the death penalty by death.
Oh my God.
A laugh scene for Meursault as the final verdict was announced?
Indeed it is, along with the joyous clap from the defense lawyer. The laugh also appears to be the first real expression we see from Meursault throughout the entire trial.
Worse. Death. At the end of the case, we will ask you to return to a verdict of not guilty.
We were lucky enough to catch Meursault after the final verdict, along with his lawyer, to ask their final opinions on the case.
Meursault was just convicted of murder. Meursault, were you expecting this punishment? Were you expecting the death penalty?
No questions.
Are you upset?
No questions from my client.
Are you upset that you were going to be killed?
Let's go.
What an interesting man. He truly has no care for the fact that he was convicted, sentenced to death.
I agree. What kind of man shows no emotion at his own mother's funeral? What a loser!
Right? Like, we live in such a good world. Like, what kind of person just looks forward to their death? Like, just take a walk or something.
Oh, Rav, like, that's how he, like, that's what he, like, In one of the trial, witnesses were called up by the prosecutors.
Prosecution was strong. Each witness was affirmative in their story, further proving Meursault as a completely vile human.
We also got further proof of the defense's lack of compassion as he cackles in Monsieur Perez's face after Perez admits that he passed out due to the horrible heat.
Or when you were passed out.
Well, see, I can't judge from what I've seen because he left me behind.
We were lucky enough to catch the prosecutor for an interview after a great day one.
Right. Mr. Wong, how are you feeling about this trial?
I feel this trial is going well. The defense has made several errors in their argument, and I feel like we have overwhelming evidence to convict the defendant, Lucien Meursault.
All right. And what is your prosecution tactic?
In terms of tactics, we are just presenting the facts so that the jury can make their own evaluation of this crime. We are calling upon witnesses who have known the defendant. We are calling upon witnesses who have seen the crime. And in doing so, we hope to convince the jury that this man is guilty of second-degree murder.
And may I ask, what are your opinions on Meursault as a person?
I think he's vile. I think he has not demonstrated that he is a positive influence in society. I think his apathy is disgusting, and I believe that his apathy towards this entire court proceeding and his disrespect for the law is one that will warrant him the death penalty.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Wong.
Thank you.
Day two, things started to get heated. Although despite Meursault's annoyance with the heat, he still didn't seem to care much.
To do with the kind of apathetic nature.
Witnesses were strong day one, but defense's callings were as weak as Mr. Salamano.
I won't speak for your elder son.
Defense on day two, however, called up perhaps the most important witness of the trial, Marie Cardona, but all of which proved more beneficial witnesses for the prosecution instead of the defense.
The number of times we caught Raymond Santee smoking cigarettes and looking at nude models during this trial was unbelievable. Like, let's get a count going.
And his girlfriend were, having and a good pal of Meursault.
Proceed. I would ask Mr. Santee to stop smoking in my court. You may cross the
me was a joke.
He's my neighbor. He lives right next door. He's even offered to act as a witness to me.
Meaning the witness.
Excuse me. I beat his sister. And Mr. Marceau would even.
Marcel's love interest also made an appearance to the stand, and boy did she put on a show.
Isn't it wild to think that he has a significant other in his life to begin with? Look at his lack of care as Marie even brushes his shoulder as she goes back to her seat.
The defense may
Carm, this trial has made me realize what kind of horrifying people live in our world.
I completely agree. This is one of the craziest and simply oddest cases we've covered in a while.
Well, don't make it sound like our channel is bad.
How are we bad? I mean, we are the second most reliable source in Algeria.
Yeah, we're better off than Marcel is right now.
You can say that again.
Can you stand back?
no chewing gum in my court.